Never let a crisis go to waste. Often that's the unspoken mantra of politicians worldwide. It's been a deadly spring here in the United States. We've experienced 4 mass shootings in 4 weeks. Americans grieve for the dead, the injured, and their families. And our politicians? For them, time is of the essence. Before the bodies turned cold and before the mourning commenced, they rushed to the media to pontificate about how Congress should seize the moment and enact meaningful gun reform legislation. Proclaiming that gun violence must be stopped, President Joe Biden signed 6 executive orders restricting guns.
Today, we're taking steps to confront not just the gun crisis, but what is actually a public health crisis. Nothing I'm about to recommend in any way impinges on the Second Amendment.
The Second Amendment to the U.S. Constitution says this: a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. So one of Biden's executive orders directs the Justice Department to crack down on ghost guns. Those guns are assembled with a 3D printer and parts purchased on the internet. Banning or confiscating those guns would be a violation of the Second Amendment, Mr. President. That's because the Constitution gives Americans the right to keep guns. Sure, our founding fathers could not envision 3D printers, but when they passed the Second Amendment, they knew bearing arms would often require keeping parts and assembling the guns at home. And don't you find it interesting that President Biden mentioned that the gun crisis is actually a public health crisis? Our politicians talk about a public health crisis after mass shootings, but I don't hear them showing similar concern for the daily public health crisis in Chicago, one of America's great cities. Do you? 446 people died in mass shootings in the USA last year. In Chicago alone, assailants killed 769 people. That's more than 2 murder victims per day. Where's the outrage? Where's the public health crisis in the Windy City? And Chicago has some of the toughest gun laws in the country. Folks, the president says the gun violence needs to stop. Mr. President, executive orders and anti-gun laws will not stop it. People will continue to do evil and murder one another. It's part of our sinful nature dating back to the Garden of Eden. Cain didn't have a gun to kill Abel. He probably used a stick or a rock. God weighed in on that first human homicide. Now the U.S. Supreme Court says it's ready to weigh in on an important gun rights case this year. The High Court will decide if a New York law restricting people from carrying concealed handguns in public violates the Second Amendment. Well, stay tuned for that one. It's likely to be a landmark ruling. Well, that's it today from the Global Lane. Be sure to follow us on the CBN News Channel, our broadcast affiliates, and on social media. And until next time, be blessed.